Today I'm joined by Joel Comm, and where are you sitting today, Joel?
I am in my home office in Denver, Colorado,
Denver.
and it is a beautifully sunny spring day.
Excellent, and I'm here in San Diego. Another beautiful sunny spring day. My name is John Golden. I'm from Pipeliner CRM, also executive editor of SalesPOP, salespop.pipelinersales.com, online sales magazine, and I'm delighted to get a chance to talk with Joel Comm, who is the author of so many best-selling books that it would take me the whole of our conversation for me to name them. But do you want to talk about, just tell us a little bit about your latest book?
The newest book is called Self-Employed, 50 Signs That You Might Be an Entrepreneur. And it's written with my co-author, John Rampton. John actually wrote a brief article for Entrepreneur Online a couple of years ago called 50 Signs You Might Be an Entrepreneur. And it's a quick, one statement per 50 things. And we talked about it that, this is so popular. It's had millions of reads.
Wow.
I think people want to know more. So we took that short article and went like that and turned it into a full book.
Yeah. So talking about the entrepreneurism or entrepreneurialism, however you pronounce that word. Do you think more and more people are starting to look towards that? I mean, the days of, because I feel the days of when people obviously had a 30-year career with the company are largely gone. Nowadays, it seems that people are less inclined to locate themselves beside the mothership because the mothership may lay them off and they may be in a high-cost area. So they're starting to go, okay, where can I live a good standard of living? I can have everything I need for my family, and then I'll find somebody to employ me. I'll work remotely.
Right.
But did you find that people are getting even that much more entrepreneurial in their thinking?
Yeah, I think they are. I think because internet and technology has offered up so many opportunities. It used to be the ads were make money stuffing envelopes at home, right? But now you can make money doing thousands of different things at home just by sitting at your computer or on your tablet, on your laptop, leveraging the power of technology. People are selling thousands of different products, goods, services, providing services, creating websites, doing e-commerce, social media. There's just so much that can be done. And I think people who sense that, maybe the JOB isn't right for me. And that's kind of why we wrote this book. It's for people that aren't sure and they want to see, do I pass the sniff test for entrepreneur? Out of these 50 things, are there enough of them that, I think maybe that's for me? And for those who are entrepreneurial, we need all the encouragement we can get.
Sure.
And so to be able to revisit and remind ourselves, because it's not always easy, right? It can be hard. There's not that stable paycheck. And to go through and go, yep, this is why I can't work for anybody else.
Right. What do you think is one of the major barriers that obviously there's the steady paycheck, but psychologically, what do you think one of the biggest barriers are to people branching out by themselves?
Fear. Not just the paycheck, just fear of failure in general. And to be an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to take risks. And with that, you are fully aware that, hey, this might not go down the way I want it to, but I'm still going to be okay.
Right.
And it's that knowledge of self-sufficiency, of knowing that I'm not going to be happy working for someone else. So would I rather be unhappy in a job, or do I want to take a risk and maybe fail, hopefully succeed, but be more the master of my own destiny?
Yeah, absolutely. I think fear is obviously a big one. What's one of the other keys that you think? You were saying if you look at yourself and you start to take the inventory in your book, you start to say, maybe I do have a little bit of entrepreneurialism in me. What are some of those signs?
Well, one of them that really became a stark sign for me when I did have a JOB is that I always have ideas. And those ideas, when shared with a superior, could intimidate that superior. Right. In fact, I got fired for a couple jobs for being strong in my position, being, somebody who was threatening to the person who was above me because they wanted job security. And if I'm coming to them with ideas that can help move things along, then I might leapfrog leapfrog over them in the organization. And so if the ideas are nonstop, and if sharing those ideas causes friction with your superiors, that could be a really great sign that you're an entrepreneur.
One of the things that our CEO at Pipeline, he coined this phrase salespreneur, right? Because he believes that in any organization, the salespeople are kind of the entrepreneurs of that organization, because they have to be creative. They have more at risk than other people do, because a lot of their pay is variable, commission based. So do you find that when you deal with people, that salespeople maybe are more entrepreneur oriented than others?
Yeah, in fact, I had 2 direct sales jobs before I ever launched into my internet business, and selling encyclopedias and selling emergency response systems, and cut my teeth on Zig Ziglar and learned secrets of closing the sale. And that actually ended up serving me in my first entrepreneurial venture, which was as a mobile disc jockey, where I would go out and I would sell my services so that I can do pool parties for apartment complexes, or wedding receptions, or, bar mitzvahs, whatever. And I had to use some of those techniques that I learned. And it's amazing how much sales plays into being an entrepreneur. And certainly if, you're commission based, you may as well be an entrepreneur, because you're working as an independent contractor for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess one of the pieces of advice you would give to somebody who is thinking about being an entrepreneur is that they better get comfortable with the fact that they are going to be in sales. And most likely in most small businesses, if you started up, you are going to be the salesperson, and you're going to be selling for a long time, right?
Yeah, who else is, unless you hire somebody to do it for you, and as the boss, that's fine. At one point, I had 38 people in my organization, and I had a director of sales that was selling high-ticket items on our behalf, and I didn't want to do it, but I'm glad that he did. But if you don't have somebody that you're paying as a salaried or commissioned salesperson, guess who's going to knock on the doors?
Yeah. What do you think is one of the most surprising things that people discover, either positively or negatively or both, when they actually branch out on their own for the first time?
Well, from the positive side, the freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, where you want, with whoever you choose to work with, for whatever your reasons are. You're no longer under the company structure of this is how we operate and this is how you need to function within this environment. You call the shots. You decide. And, so for me with an internet business, my natural lifestyle is to sleep in a little bit, to get up casually, to go do my exercise, answer some email, go have some lunch, goof around a little bit, get on calls, do interviews, and sometimes I get some of my best work done from midnight to 1 a.m., right? Where I'll just pound out some stuff. Right. And it's that freedom and flexibility that there's just never a day that I feel like I'm not in control of how my day is going to flow. And the only time that I have to be somewhere is because I've chosen to go with that. For example, this podcast, we set an appointment and I decided, yes, of course I want to speak with John, and let's book that out. So those are the type of appointments that I have decided to make, but not because a superior says, I want you to go meet with such and such, or we're flying you to this city and you have to be on a plane here. No, we call the shots. Now, the negative side to that is that there is no job security, except that you provide it yourself. If you are not disciplined to work at all without any, oversight, well, then you're going to have a problem getting things done. But the beautiful thing about entrepreneurs is we have a dream. Right. And we believe in that dream, and we're driven by that dream. We're not driven by the money. Because money itself, I've made a lot, I've lost a lot. I know, once you know how to make money, then it's no longer about making money. Get your bills taken care of, and then it's about lifestyle. How do I want to live my life? What's important to me? For some people, chasing more is what's important to them. But I find that for most people, they're happy and content once they've got all their needs taken care of, and they can afford a lifestyle that they want to enjoy. Other than that, just working just to make money can be really empty.
Right, absolutely. So what do you think are some of the Yeah, because I think even when sometimes you mention the word entrepreneur, I think because it's a long word and it's difficult to spell, that somehow people, it almost scares people away from from the concept. So I mean, how do you advise people if they are making that leap? What, the first 6 months is always the toughest, right? First 6 months to a year. What are some of the things that they can do maybe to sustain themselves during that period of like, oh, have I made a horrible mistake here?
Right. Well, first of all, if entrepreneur is too hard for you to spell or say, maybe you shouldn't be one. But you could always go with self-employed. That's a much
True.
easier way to go about it. Look, if you have a little cushion going in, if you have some, seed money, angel money, families, members helping you get started, that's always nice to have that little bit of cushion. But if all else fails, if you feel like you're not going anywhere, it's just not coming together, go out and talk to people, whether it's hanging out at the Starbucks or whether it's an event that is focused on your industry, which is preferable, and ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. Find out where people's pain points are. Discover what they need. And when people share their problems with you, you're going to have a little light on your dashboard indicator in your brain go off and say, I can help with that. I can assist with that. I can either directly help, I can consult with them, for a fee to get that done. I can provide a service for them, or maybe it's just, I know somebody that can help them and I'm going to make that connection, right? The goal is to solve people's problems. And the best way to discover those problems is go where people are. So one of the tendencies of entrepreneurs is be insulated. They're at home, they're on their computer, they're working away, and they forget that ultimately they're not in the business of selling a product or a service. That's not, we create products and services that become a conduit for meeting the needs of people. But ultimately, we are in the business of serving people. So go where people are, find out what their problems are, and go serve them. The more you put yourself around people that have problems that you could potentially solve, the faster you will be able to ramp up your own business.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice because, yeah, I agree. I think the tendency probably in the early stages is to go inside yourself and is to think, if I lock myself in this room for 24 hours a day and just work really hard, everything will come together. But
no, that's not an office. That's an insane asylum. That's a padded cell. Don't do that. You need people. And more than that, people need you. Right? Your entrepreneurial vision for what you have is designed to bring value to others. And through your own unique passions, talents, skills, ability, and personality, you are the answer to somebody's problem, maybe to many somebody's problem. So if you're hiding away, then you're not giving people an opportunity to discover how you can solve their problem.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great point. And then just building on this just a touch, you've written a bunch of books too about online marketing and social media and all of that. So how would you advise people to approach marketing themselves online? Because that's one of the things I hear from people a lot is that they get very confused because now there's obviously Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, and there seems to be a new one cropping up all the time, and they just get totally confused about where should I put my energies.
Well, it's overwhelming. There's no doubt about it. So there's two things that I look at. One is what platform resonates with me. Where do I like to engage and where do people engage with me? And how fun is it for me to be on that platform? Does it feel like work or does it feel like a natural extension of who I am to be on a certain platform? You can't do them all. Don't even try. I like to say, don't let anybody should on you. Well, you should be on LinkedIn. You should be doing videos on YouTube. You should be going live. You should be on Periscope and Facebook and Twitter and Stumble Upon and Instagram and Snapchat and Instagram Stories and Facebook Messenger. You can't do it all. And I don't try to. I have platforms that I am more prevalent on and others that I don't, I hardly ever Pinterest. I hardly ever. But there are those who Pinterest is their focus and they're crushing it there. That's great. The moment you start letting people should on you or you should on yourself that you have to be everywhere at once, guess what? You're no longer being entrepreneurial. You just hired yourself for a job that you don't want to do. So make sure it's authentic. Keep it real. Go where where you have an audience that engages with you and where you enjoy it the most.
Yeah, I love that. That's another great piece of advice. I always kind of think Pinterest is like digital quilting. That's the way I've always looked at it. And I know, and I'm sorry to anybody out there who's really good on Pinterest. It's obvious that I don't understand it. But I agree with you. I mean, that thing about people spreading themselves too thin or trying to, because I mean, if you're going across all these platforms, you're not getting anything else done, right?
No, you're not. And you're going to make yourself miserable, and you're going to burn out. And there's seasons, for about 9 months, I was really into Snapchat.
Right.
Loved snapping, loved the storytelling tools. I still think Snapchat's fantastic, but I started feeling this internal pressure to create content on a daily basis.
Right.
That's when I didn't walk away for good, but I put it down. I said, this is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I can build a bigger audiences here. If I'm trying too hard, it's not going to come through, and I'm defeating my own purpose to, seize the day, carpe diem, and live my life on my terms. So I'm never going to let any platform dictate to me how I use it. Social media should not master you. You should master social media, because social media is not up here and your life is here. Social media is a microcosm, a subset of your life. So when you use social media, if you're just taking little pieces of yourself and you're infusing it into what you post and share, you're going to be doing it authentically, organically. And people are going to get to like, know, and trust you. And that's how you succeed using social media for business. When you inculcate this like, know, and trust by letting your authentic self and the value you bring translate to your audience that you're engaging with, when it's time for a transaction to take place, they're most likely to come to you for whatever it is you offer.
So how do you encourage somebody, say like somebody started as an entrepreneur, so they're comfortable enough with the selling part, but they go, well, this social media, it all feels a little bit like marketing, and I'm not really a marketing guy. I don't know how to do this. Maybe I should just employ somebody to write blog posts and tweet for me. How do you get them over that? Because what you just said about the authenticity, I think that is really critical, and that's something that I often talk about. I think it's fine for you to get a ghostwriter as long as the ideas are yours or whatever.
Right.
But to present somebody who isn't you, I don't think you do yourself any service there.
No, I think, and I do some third-party social media management, but it's never in the arena of trying to create original ideas on my behalf.
Right.
That does have to come from my content. It's, if I use somebody, it's more like if somebody tweets me and says, thanks for following me, send them a message back saying, you're welcome, glad to know you, right? Basic stuff that I would do and I would say. But by and large, if social isn't you being social, then you've just removed the social from social media. And now it's just media. And now you're just seeing it as a broadcast channel. And if it's purely a broadcast channel, then you're going to fail at it, because people are going to sense that it's not real, it's not authentic. They're going to unfollow you, and at the very least, they're going to tune you out.
So your advice is really like, do it, be yourself, as long as yourself is somebody that people can take to. If it's not, maybe then don't do it.
If people can't take you on social media, then maybe you have some real world problems. Because again, social is just an extension of who we are. It's not two different things. I'm this person in real life and I'm this person on social media, unless you actually are a character actor, right? And you have a public persona for that explicit purpose. Then if you're trying to do real business with people, they want to do real business with real people.
Excellent. Okay, in the last minute here, Joel's a very busy man. Do you think this is a particularly good time for somebody to become an entrepreneur? I mean, is this one of the best times ever, would you say?
This is the best time ever, especially in America. Our economy is really turning around. There's so many opportunities, and there's so much that hasn't been done. We are transforming. We went from this agrarian to industrial to technological society, and now we're entering more into an age of service industries, right? Where we find ways that what we do can make somebody's life easier, better, improved. healthier, what smarter, faster, whatever it is we can do through the services we provide. And there's the demand for services is going to continue to increase. So, it's time to ask yourself, what can I do to help others to solve their problems? It is a great time to be self-employed.
Fantastic. Okay, before we go, Joel, tell the people how can they contact you and find out more about you?
Yeah, so I'm at Joel Comm everywhere. And yes, my real last name is Comm. It's with two M's, Comm. So Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. My website's joelcomm.com. And I invite you to go to Amazon and find my new book, Self-Employed, and get yourself a copy.
All right. Thanks, Joel. This is John Golden of Pipeliner CRM and SalesPOP Online Sales Magazine.